Okay, so in this case, the question is, it is given that 2% of defect of the items produced by a company are defective. This means what? 2% items produced by a company are defective means what? Out of 100%, 2% are defective. This means rest are non-defective, or we can say fresh. This means fresh product is 98% and defective products are 2%. So there is big difference. One is too high and one is too low. 2% and 98%. This is just like if you have 1 crore rupees, then one share is 2 lakh and another share is 98 lakh. Clear? So both are not considerable. Considerable amount only either 2% or 98%. If your question is based on 2%, then this is considerable. Otherwise, 98 is considerable. Clear? Okay. So this 2% is what? Probability of defect. So in solution, we will write first probability of defect. Okay. So probability of defect. Probability of defect is 2%. And you can write this 2% as 0.02. Clear? Now we will decide this is P or Q. So your question is based on defective product or fresh product. All these parts are based on defect or fresh defective product. Clear? So you will consider this given probability of defect as P. Is it clear? And if the probability of defect is given just like this 2%, but the question is based on non-defect, in that situation you will consider P as 98% because your question is based on non-defect. So जिस चीज पे question based है उसको consider करोगे, this is probability of success. Is it clear? Done? Okay. Now next line, applying Poisson distribution, directly given. We need to apply Poisson distribution. Sometimes this line is not given. There may be chances of when mean and variance are equal. Or if the mean and variance of data are equal, then find the probability of something. Clear? So in this case already given, this is Poisson distribution. Applying Poisson distribution, find the probability that a packet of 100 items contains. Now packet of 100 items. This is just like n observations. What? N observations, n. So in this case, n equals to what? N equals to what? 100. Clear? Okay. Now we will see these 4 questions. But before that, as we know, this is the case of Poisson distribution. So we will focus only on Poisson distribution probability formula. So this is the probability. So this is the probability of Poisson distribution. This is the probability of Poisson distribution, PD. Clear? Okay. So for this, you need what? First, M. Clear? So M is what? Formula for M is what? M equals to NP. Clear? So mean of binomial distribution, mean of Poisson distribution. So first we will write mean of Poisson distribution. So mean of Poisson distribution is denoted by what? M. So this is M equals to what? NP. Clear? And N in this case is what? 100. And P is what? P is what? 0.02. Huh? Listen. we are writing general term for probability formula because we need this term for all the parts. Clear? So this equals to how much? 2. So mean for this distribution is what? 2. Clear? Now we will focus on these questions. So defect may be 1 out of 100, defect may be 1, defect may be 2, 3, 4, or defect may be 0. Maybe 0 means no defect. This means R equals to what? 0. Clear? So for no defect, first case. This is the first case. So this is first case for no defective item, probability of no defect. Okay, so probability of no defect means 0 defect we can say. So probability of 0 defect means you can write this as probability for R equals to 0. Is it clear? For no defect means 0 defect. So that's why we are writing R equals to 0. Okay, so for R equals to 0, we need to write this formula. So for R equals to, how will you write this formula? First, you will write same quantity e raised to the power minus m and m raised to the power now. R is what? 0. And this quantity divided by what? Factorial 0. Clear? Okay, now we will put value of m. So e raised to the power minus 2. When we will put m equals to 2. And this quantity multiplied by 2 raised to the power 0. And this quantity divided by what? Factorial 0. Clear? So for this case, we have already calculated this e raised to the power minus 2. I have already explained this. E raised to the power minus 2 is what? 0.135. Clear? Sometimes may be given in question paper, or sometimes you need to find this value by using 2.718. Okay, so value of e raised to the power minus 2 is what? 0.135. And this quantity multiplied by 2 raised to the power 0 means 1. If the power is 0, then this quantity become 1. So this equals to 1, and factorial 0 is what? Again 1. Factorial 0 is 1. So the answer of this part is what? 0.135. This is the probability of no defect, or we can say probability of 0 defect. Is it clear? Anyone? Any doubt? Confusion? Okay. So the next part is what? Probability of one defect. So this second part, probability of one defect. Probability of one defect means R is equal to 1. Yes. So now we need to find probability for one defect. This means R is equal to 1. Now you will apply formula in same way. Clear? So you will write e raised to the power minus m raised to the power now 1, and this divided by factorial 1, and this equals to what? E raised to the power minus 2, and m is what? M is 2 raised to the power 1, and this divided by factorial 1. Now e raised to the power minus 2 already calculated, this is 0.135, and multiplied by 2 raised to the power 1 is what? 2, and this quantity divided by factorial 1 is 1. Clear? So your answer is what? 0.270. Is it clear? Anyone? Any doubt? Confusion? Okay, now we will see next part. Next part is at least one defect. This is the important part. Listen, no defective means all fresh. So you can write this thing, especially non-defect, in two ways. All are fresh or zero defect. Clear? As other part of this question are based on defective. So we will solve this first also based on defective concept. Clear? Done? So next part is what? At least one defect. So at least one defect. At least one defect means कम से कम एक. कम से कम एक का मतलब वन भी हो सकता है, टू भी हो सकता है, और कहां तक हो सकता है? कितने? नो, देर आर 100. So this means you need to find probability up to 100. So for at least one case you will write probability for R is greater than equals to 1. This means this may be 1, this may be 2, this may be 3, and this may be up to 100 because total is 100. Clear? Okay, so this means your target is what? Your target is you need to find probability of first one defect. Your target is what? Probability of two defect, or this is up to probability of what? 100 defect. Now how will you solve this? You can't find this total one by one. This is too time consuming. So you know the total probability is what? Total probability is 1. So probability of 0 defect plus probability of 1 defect plus probability of 2 defect, or up to probability for 100 defect. This total probability always what? 1. Clear? And you need part from 1 to 100. You need this calculation only. So you can write this part as this 1 minus this P0. We will shift this P0 this side. So this become what? 1 minus P0. So you can write this complete part as what? 1 minus P0. So now you will apply formula only for P0. And for this question, we have already calculated this P0, probability of 0 defect. Clear? So directly you can write this as 1 minus probability of no defect, probability of 0 defect. That is what? 0.135. So your answer is what? 0.865. Is it clear? Anyone? Any doubt? Confusion? Okay. Next part is what? Two or more defective. Two or more defective means we are solving this part. Two or more defective. Okay, so two or more defective means how will you write in term of R? Probability of R greater than equals to 2. And you can write this as probability of 2 defect plus probability of 3 defect, and this is up to probability of 100 defect. But you can't solve this up to 100. This is too time consuming. So you can write this term as what? 1 minus? Yes. You will subtract this P0 and P1 also. Both the terms are subtracted. And for ease of solution, you can write this as 1 minus P0, formula for P0 for this case is what? Yeah, we will write plus when we will take common. In this case, we have not taken common. Now we will take common. Clear? So this is e raised to the power minus 2, and 2 is what? M is what? 2. 2 raised to the power 0 in this case, and this divided by factorial 0. And now we will write plus because minus is taken as common. So now you will write this as e raised to the power minus 2m and 2 raised to the power 1, and this divided by factorial 1. So now you can write this e raised to the power minus 2 as common again. So you can write this as 1 minus e raised to the power minus 2 as common, and this is what? 2 raised to the power 0. This is 1, and factorial 0 is what? 1 plus this is taken as common, and 2 raised to the power 1 is 2, and this divided by factorial 1, that is what? 1. Now this is what? 1 minus e raised to the power minus 2 is what? 0.135, and this is what? 1 upon 1 is 1, this is 2 upon 1 is 2, so total is what? 3. So you can write this as 1 minus 0.135 multiplied by what? 3. So please calculate, this is how much? I think this is 0.625. Please cross check. 0.59. So this is 0.59. 595. 59. Clear? Any doubt? Confusion? Okay. Now we can solve one more case. I have not written this case. So one more case at most. In previous case, this was at least 2 or at least 1. Now we can solve one more case at most. At most 2 defects. So how will you solve this at most 2 defect? At most means maximum 2. This may be 0, no defect. This may be 1 defect, or this may be 2 defect. So probability for at most means maximum 2. This means R is less than equals to 2, either 2 or 1 or 0. So you can write this as probability for 0 defect plus probability of 1 defect plus probability of 2 defect. Clear? For these type of cases, you will write formula for all. Formula for first is what? E raised to the power minus 2 as m equals to 2, and 2 raised to the power 0, 0 success, and divided by factorial 0. And this second one is what? E raised to the power minus 2 and 2 raised to the power 1, and this quantity divided by 1, factorial 1. And next is what? E raised to the power minus 2, 2 raised to the power 2, and this quantity divided by factorial 2. Now you can take this e raised to the power minus 2 as common, and factorial 2 raised to the power 0 is 1. So this is 1, and factorial 0 is 1, and second term 2 raised to the power 1 is 2, factorial 1 is 1, and next is 2 raised to the power 2 is what? 4, and factorial 2 is what? 2 into 1, that is what? 2. So on solving, you will see this term as e raised to the power minus 2, and first term is 1, this second term is 2, and third term is again 2. So your answer is what? Your answer is 5 e raised to the power minus 2. Now you will put value of e raised to the power minus 2, that is what? 0.135. So your answer is 0.135. 675. So answer is 0.675. This is the case of at most. So this is overall Poisson distribution. Clear?